Greetings, guys, and welcome back to another video. I do apologize beforehand. I did mention I was going to do a Rifter video after a week. That's been canned. I tried to get some good engagements with the Rifter, but it just wasn't happening. So I decided to do another Vigil fleet video, and then praise or spread the gospel as the Vigil fleet and get more people flying it, because it's like ridiculously good. I'm not going to go too much over the fit of this Vigil. Basically, like armor, dual web, ABE, a long point. Be using mostly Nova Javelin in this Vigil and a 7% agency speed drug. Basically, the main strat we'll employ is orbiting 13500 for most things, because it allows us to get underneath the guns of like rails and artillery, and also get a significant range of like blasters and like autos and things like this. That's basically like the premise of this fit. It's quite easy. We have some like good fits lining up, and I do apologize for not putting out a Rifter video, and I don't think I'll be flying Rifter ever again. Hate it. So yeah, let's get on to the fights. Alright, I was really happy that I was able to capture this fight. This basically shows like basically my strat. Like I'm basically planning on trying to pull from this Republic Few Firetail. Usually the Firetail is quicker, but for our speed drug we're slightly faster, so I'm expecting to pull range. If we're quicker and he doesn't maybe load AB, sorry, we will pull range. So my idea is to get to 13500, get his heated web range, and then orbit him. And you'll see that now that we're orbiting him, you'll start missing us. And this is great, 'cause, like, even though we're doing little DPS, like, he'll be doing more DPS, but since he can't apply any of it, this is like an easy fight for us. You'll notice I just getting little grazing hits and misses, which is usually how I beat like these Art of Firetails in the rail comets. Yeah. But it's quite difficult. Like, I don't recommend like warping into a Firetail like this. Like, I felt like I was quite lucky in this one. So if he was quicker on these webs, it would take us really long to pull range. So ideally, try and stick in a plex and let the Firetail warp into you and like sort your range before they come in. Okay, Griffin Navies aren't actually quite the pushover you'd think they'd be with the ECM nerfs. So basically, this will be blaster rails, of course. Eel or would give us a hard fight. Like, but my idea is to like pull range, like my usual tactic, orbit 13500. If he's rails, he'll start to get like tracking problems, and if he's blasters, he won't be able to apply. But it's like until we can pull range, it's actually really dicey. He gets a really good approach on us before I do anything, and then basically I need to like tank this before I can pull range. I have Nova Javelin loads because I assume this Griffin Navy is going to be shield. I'm pulling out and he is applying very well, but I'm close to getting out of void range or antimatter range. And you'll see that we start taking very, very little damage. And that's pretty much us won the fight by that point. Once we, like the initial like tank, once we pull range, that's it. A real Griffin would probably have a better chance, but by the time we get to 13500, get his web range, we'll probably be getting a lot of misses because the Griffin Navy doesn't have a tracking bonus. So yeah, it'd be doing pretty poor tracking to us and very little application. So this was quite dicey, but yeah, we got it. Alright, this fellow grunt is he's flying a rail comet. This would probably be a lot more difficult fight if I was honorable or I warped into him. I know he's going to warp into me, so I already set up my my range, and I'm already at like 11k. Once I web and overheat and stuff, I'm basically trying to get the 13500 usual strat, and then because again the Griffin doesn't have a tracking bonus, he's gonna not apply whatsoever. So if I was warping in, the time it would take me to like a full range, a real combat would actually be like pose a very significant threat. Actually, it could be a far fairer fight. But unfortunately, I'm dishonorable and cowardly with my dual webs and speed and whatnot. So yeah, like a fight like this is a very hard fight for this Griffin. There's not much else he could have done. Maybe try and like let me warp into him, but he's like a very, very brave pilot, Grunt. But we do win this one, but Grunt does definitely get his revenge in this next fight, which we'll see after this one. But yeah, I just want to give props to Grunt for taking this, because that's like a very, very hard fight. Alright, I want to like Grunt's revenge here. Alright, I see a slicer, and I'm going for my regular strat. I'm gonna orbit 500, like slingshot it underneath his guns. And once I say orbit 500, that's pretty much when we lost this. This isn't a regular slicer. You'll soon see. If you see a web and a slicer, just get out. I I want to click approach in this. Orbit instead of approach, and I don't know what happened, but even if I clicked approach, I'd probably just like melt. It's just a polarized slicer, and I die rapid, so yeah, GF, Brad. Who would have thought that Merlin would give me the best run for my money in like a long time, man? I was expecting this to be just like a regular Merlin. I feel like I made a mistake in loading EM. I should have done Inferno or Explosive. So I want to get like 13500 in orbit. Main strat. But this is a real armor Merlin. Do web. This is really scary, man. I feel like I've totally underestimated him, so I'm not like quick in the draw of like my AB and webs and stuff. So I thought it'd be like a cakewalk. But loading the EM, I'm also not heating my guns now I noticed. That's like another very, very bad mistake here. What could have potentially like lost is it? But yeah. I didn't realize like how crazy. I'll probably end up start flying these more like dual web rail Merlins. We're doing some more DPS. We have some more tank actually, especially with Milo and Javelin. Now he says after the fight that he burned out his mid rack. I feel like if he didn't, he might have potentially like bet us. But I felt like I would get web range anyway. But mate, I was like, oh no, are we gonna lose to Maryland? It was so close. So like GF to that pilot, man. I was not expecting that from a Maryland. That was nuts. Alright, this fight's against one of the Lowsec staples, a real comet. I dig going for real comets, man, because it's always a super close fight. But I like the fact I can actually fight them in this Vigil. So I use my main strat, 13500 orbit, Javelin, Nova Javelin loaded. I believe I have Fusion loaded in my artillery. I want to pull range as quick as I can. He also has a newt, which is very weird for a real comet. So I look to pull my range, which is working so well. We're still taking like a lot of damage, so I need to watch my reps here. That's pretty much it for now. Just like managing my heat and reps. Now I make a very big mistake in this fit of heat management. We don't burn anything out, thankfully. But once I pulled range, I should have like switched heat off AB, heat on webs, because you'll see that he drifts out of range, because I'm bad. We were heating our webs 19. I know it's too late, and I can't get my webs back on him. So this pilot does something very smart, and he pulls off range and like lets me burn into him. And I think he ends up looking to defang my drones. If he actually stuck on me, I'm pretty sure he'd be able to kill me if he like switched ammo with like a longer range ammo. So I'm contemplating chasing him, but at this point I know that I'm probably lost the fight here. So I'll line out. You'll notice at one point I'm like, oh, did I go back in for that? And then, but if I'd done that, I'd probably die. I don't know why I was even thinking that. I should have just got out. I think I like come back and like, dude, he's coming back in to go for it. Like underneath his guns. And I'm like, nah, dude, because like we've ran out of pace. He's probably ran out of pace too, but we take like big damage. So I'm like, alright, nah. Orbiting 10k. Oh, I'm gonna come back in. I'm like, no, we're taking damage. So I need to get out. But that's like a very close fight. That's why I really like going for real combats, because they're always like such like great fights. Okay, this is a perfect example of like a real combat engagement. I'm already set up in a plex at 11k and I let this dude warp into me. I set my orbit to 13500. We have Javelin loaded. And we have like 18k range with those, so there's like no problem hitting them. I heat my webs until like my orbit's like sorted. And I turn the heat off of the webs and then turn the heat on the AB. So we like it aids us in like our speed tank. You'll have like less chance of hitting us. I do need to keep my eye on like his distance. If he gets out to like 14 or he starts like, I feel like he's like going to get web range, we'll switch the heat off of the AB into the webs. So we don't want him to like end up escaping. Well, it's what I like try to do. But in this situation, yeah, everything's going quite well. He's like missing a lot of hits. I feel like it's only his drones are really applying. And yeah, this is generally how you want to handle like a real comet. Get to 13500. Well, heat AB. We do have a 7% agency speed drug that's aiding us in their speed, which is also like very handy. But yeah, you'll notice like a majority of the hits. I don't think I got many good hits on us with these rails. And this like makes it a very, very easy fight for us. Just watch your heat management and your modules, and you'll be golden. Alright, this fight's against a MOA. Honestly, like a lot of frigates can take on cruisers, especially if they don't run like newts or don't have much drones. So once you defang cruisers, pretty much like if you're speedy enough and have dual webs, you can pretty much get underneath your guns very well. So all I want to do is orbit 13. So I'm worried that's like dual web or something in AB, and it might probably will be able to track. So I'm looking out for its drones too, because once it defangs drones, that's like its last like chance of basically dealing damage to me, unless it has something weird up its sleeve. But it does not. So I'm quickly plinking away at it, noticing that it's buffer, which is like really good. So I feel like it'd take me ages to kill like a extra large ancillary one or something. It's like a buffer one's like ideal for me. I'm playing away. I see his hornets, and like that's our #1 priority. So that's the only way he'll be able to deal damage. Now he does get a few grazing hits throughout the fight, but once we kill, and like I hate this. I don't know how to like stop this, but it makes me feel nauseous when you're like watching drones and just like flip about everywhere. So if anyone can put in the comments how to like stop that, that'd be great. So yeah, like I'm working through his drones. And, the pilot doesn't like manage his drones well. He should have like tried and like pull them in, put them back out, get a hit, pull them in. That way he'd be able to like constantly apply damage, but he doesn't seem to like care too much about his drones. That's like very bad for us. I'm worried about his executioner. I'll lock it up. I'm still actually like happy here, because if that executioner went in, I'd probably just like try and kill it and then hope that the mod didn't like apply or something. I don't know. I'm thinking some crazy things, but thankfully it was a bot. And yeah, I keep on like blinking away at this guy. His damage is like completely gone now, and this is pretty much easy. I just yeah, this is pretty much just like a waiting game now. Like I don't even need to like run a rep, or I was thinking about maybe contemplating reloading it, but I'm happy I didn't. So he does end up getting like a pretty hefty grazing hit, and like if he got like another couple, then we'd have been buggered if I had reloaded it. But I think that's the only grazing hit he ends up getting, which is yeah. Like there's nothing more satisfying than fighting up ship like this, man. This is probably like my favorite thing. Like fighting like the cruisers and frigates, or like battle cruisers and like assault frigates, these kind of things. There's nothing more satisfying. But I think a lot of people underestimate frigates and their cruisers. Just like thinking that like big DPS and like your drones will save them, but if they don't manage it well, you're kind of buggered. Like this pure pilot here. To be fair though, like most people don't probably expect what I'm doing here, like orbiting out their web range and stuff. Except if we were in web range, he could have potentially tracked very well. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Or maybe if you had ECM drones, or maybe you can use like doing like an off meta fit, like a medium mute. But that's ideally what you want to look out for when you're facing cruisers. Got to go for stabbers, but it can be rough, man. It's like a lot of stabbers run medium mutes, and this like I'd need to like pull my orbit out to like say like 15 or 16 to like deal with that, because I'm pretty sure the range of like medium mutes is about like 14, 15. So if this dude had a medium nuke, which isn't the case like anymore, it's like I believe it's 5 guns and no utility high, so it's like in a very bad predicament. Also, I hate running buffer fits in cruisers, because it does mean like this can happen. Because even if he was running extra large ancillary, even after all his charges were gone, he could have probably got reload off before I killed him, and it would make this fight significantly longer. But once I'm in his armor buffer, I didn't realize how quick he was going down actually, so I might have just been better staying with EM ammo. But I switched to explosive javelin just to make this a bit quicker. So I'm worried, like again with these long cruiser fights, you need to worry about like people coming to help or like stealing your dice solo kill. Cause I see this Mardude master coming in. I'm like, oh no, he's got backup, or Ealer. He's come to like I don't know, like do bad things to me, but nah, that's not the case. And thankfully get a nice kill against this Moa, which was a good fight, man. I feel sorry for this pilot. This must have sucked for him, but yeah, GF nonetheless. Alright, I love going for retributions and slicers. This Rachel's playing ridiculously defensive, man. He wants me to burn into him. This is what I end up doing by trying. I also play a bit passively. It's like what's the word? Beam retries are really DPS heavy. Like retries in general are really scary, man. But so I come into the approach. I'm keeping my eye on his speed, and he's not applying like a prop or anything. He hasn't actually shown his prop at this moment, so I'm actually a bit worried. Like it's a weird like AB web or weird fit like that, or dual web or something. So even if I like get into his range, he'll dual web me, and then I'll probably die before the time I react. So I'm just keeping an eye on his speed and stuff. He hasn't quite activated his module yet. I'm sort of like, I'm not approaching. I'm sort of coming in at an angle, so maybe he'll get tracking issues. I know it's now, okay, yeah, MWD 6, so he's probably a kitey one. he's still being very, very passive. Second around like 40 now, so I line out. I'm trying to make him burn into me so I can like get a little slingshot on him. I try this. But he's, again, like, super defensive, which is probably right for him, because I said it's actually quite a blingy retry. But, yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on his, like, distance and speed. I'm sort of, like, toying about, like, warping in and warping out. Hoping that he's going to get a little bit closer and stop being so defensive. I end up making the decision to, like, alright, let's go in here. And then I'm looking to see if he, like, long points me. So I was wondering if it was maybe like MWD Web or some like really weird fit, but nah, it ended up being just like the regular kiting Retribution. I start taking like a lot of damage here, and I think he overestimates his DPS because he like commits really hard. I get 2 webs on him, and I need to get into like a tight orbit to like reduce his income DPS because I'm hurting very hard here. I forgot to say that we have an EM load. The EM or thermal is what you want to shoot against a Pt2, not like explosive or kinetic. So we end up getting underneath his guns, and this is pretty much it, man. That's like sort of play into getting into like the orbit range is like what makes these fights. But once you're underneath your guns, there's not a lot they can do unless like you're snaked or something. And then like if they like heat your MWD, they'll probably be faster than it because we don't have a scram to switch off their MWD, so they can still run their MWD. But yeah, at this point it's like pretty much GG. He's not playing. I just need to watch my cap management just in case he's like looking to line out. My long point like drops off and then he warps. So just like watch your cap. Like in situations like this, there's no need to like constantly run a rep or just like sort of pulse it just in case he gets some lucky hits. And yeah, I was super pleased with this, man. Especially as defensive as he was, I don't think I was gonna get a fight out of this. But turns out we did, and like thankfully we did because I got a nice like I think it was like 60 mil drop from his point. And he was also running like I guess A-type MWD or something, but unfortunately that didn't drop. It's like, yes, man. That was a quite nice wee bling kill. But yeah, very pleased with that one. Okay, so going up against Rash can be really dicey, man. What I recommend you do is once you're inside a Plex, hold your invulnerability and check out what guns they have. If it's RD, I recommend you just leave. There's not many RD Thrashers that you can kill. Because the AB dual web one, it's rough. Just dual web it, a line out, and then you should be able to pull range and then warp. Just hope you don't get like blapped by like a good volley. So we're checking the guns now, hoping for autos. And I think that's what I catch. So I'm like, alright, let's go for this. Like, autos and artillery look very similar. But just know that, like, autos, like, sort of, like, spin. But, basically, 13500, same strat you employ for, like, everything. And, it wouldn't be able to apply. It would have been a bit more of a, closer fight if you like got good MWD cycles at 0 as in the start of the fight, because it would have taken us a little while to move away, and like Thrashers do like really good DPS, man. But you'll also notice that I'm constantly running my smaller artillery, which is like a very bad thing. Like, don't do that. That was I didn't notice that. But thankfully we didn't take any damage in this fight, or very, very little. But in like another engagement I would have been like very poor. But yeah, just with away against this Thrasher, and this is pretty much done. I feel like Lizzie may have like switched the ammo there, cause she got like a grazing hit, and it may have like switched to barrage or something. Like got nice grazing, but too little too late at this point. And, yeah, we've pretty much done enough damage as to where we've secured this fight. I just need to sort of watch like their distance compared to ours, and like if they like start to pull range or get to like 14-15, you need quickly heat your webs and just make sure you don't escape. So yeah, a nice little fight for us. That would have been very frustrating for that Thrasher. I do apologize. Yeah. Alright, if Vigil versus Vigil is like a really, like, I don't like the matchup. I still go for this anyway. So Vigil is inside the Plex, has the like a lot of the advantage. So you can dictate what ammo they want to use, like what ranges they're at. You can stick up range, load javelin, or you can stick low and load rage. And then if the Vigil that's coming in like loads rage and you're using javelin, that Vigil is buggered. But if you're using the dude inside's using rage and you're using javelin, you're buggered. But I load javelin just expecting this dude to run rage, and I want to pull range and then hope. Cause like if he's not running range regs, or if he is running range regs, he'll probably have a range about 10k if he's at rage. It takes a wee while to engage us, and I pull range. And you'll notice that we don't like get like very little damage to us. Cause like we're at like 10k now. I'm assuming this dude has rage. I feel like he does end up like switching damage or ammo. But at this point, it's still too late, man. Like in a matchup like this, if you apply damage sooner, you pretty much win the fight. There's a real way to win it at that point. So yeah, I'm fairly confident I've got this. But the initial what ammos the two matchups have dictate the fight, and that's a nicely GF against that Vigil. The shield Vigil's a lot more scary, man. I've lost a shield Vigil before because I landed on it at 0, didn't notice, and its rage and its DPS just melted us. But yeah, just be mindful that people do run a shield one. And if that's the case, actually, you could pull range a lot quicker because the shield one only runs one web. So that's probably the safer strat. It's a little javelin. And then, yeah, it's the same strat. 13500, mate. You can't go wrong. Okay, this is against an Omen. This is an arranged 1v1 against Death Head. I was basically seeing him in gate. He's confident, do you want to go? And he's like, nah, it's gonna be an unfair fight for you. And I was like, nah, dude, this will be fine. So basically what I want to do is orbit 500, get underneath his guns. Look out for his drones here. I have Nova Rage loaded because I know that you'll have very little tracking with his guns. He could have been in a weird AB duet Omen or something, which is why I was assuming that he was maybe saying that this would be an unfair fight for you. I still want to take it, but this is just an AB web and scram Omen with a plate and a free max stab, so he's going to have very little time to very little tracking against us. But I was like, alright, he still has a chance if he's got light drones, and he does not. He's using mediums, which is a very bad thing for him. I did end up convoying him after this and saying, yeah, dude, you probably want to bring light drones from now on. And it's like, yeah. So this was actually a really good lesson for Death's Head here. That I feel like light drones are significantly better than an Omen and cruisers in general. Mediums are so easy to just defang and take up too much of your space, whereas 2 lights for you get more bang for your buck. I feel with light drones. So basically, even though these mediums aren't applying too well, I feel it's worth taking them out just in case get some good hits or something. He managed them really well actually. I pulled him in and out now and then. If he was using light drones, he would have actually done a lot better. Like that strat, pull him out, do a bit of damage to me, and pull them in. It's really the only way a cruiser like this would be able to deal with me once I'm underneath their guns. Unless I had a newt, of course, but the Omen doesn't have a utility high for a newt, so I wasn't too worried about it. So I'm just keep my artillery on the Omen because the artillery is probably not going to apply whatsoever to the medium drones. So I thought, alright, might as well. Even it's not applying to the Omen here either, very little because we're orbiting so close in that speed. But I thought, bugger it. So then I switched my damage back to this Omen now that we've started out with the drones. I wouldn't lie, man. I think we used 1 charge in this fight. That'd been very different if he was using light drones, but yeah, a very, very, very interesting lesson for this Omen. But yeah, definitely bring light drones in your cruisers, man. Unless you have enough space for mediums and lights, but I wouldn't take mediums over lights. It's sort of shows why. So a little frigate like this can't do bad things to you. This is also a buffer fit Omen. If it was more of an active fit, it would take a bit longer. It's also sort of yeah, I hate buffer fits. Unless they're for fleet. I feel active fits are far superior. Although the Omen, that's free meds, so it doesn't really work well for active fit unless you're doing Kaide. And even then, I would like to go for Kaide Omen because the dual webs at 19k, I'd pretty easily get underneath its guns unless alphas before I get into orbit range, but I'd still go for it. So yeah, this is a really good. I see the 1v1. I see the Jag coming in. I'm super worried. I don't know Cadillac, so he used to be in Yushikan. So I'm weird, man. I'm in a new corpse. I'm not sure if he's gonna be aggressive, help me, or friendly or not. But he ends up not interfering, going for this kill. I think it's looking to help, but he doesn't get on the kill mill. No, I was a little worried. I was locking him up just in case he started aggressing me, so I could put webs on him, AB, and pull off. But thankfully, it doesn't. So yeah, that's a good fight against that Omen. Alright, I see a Maryland D-scan, and what I'm assuming, this is either going to be an armor, dual web one, or just a shield. So I assume shield. I want to keep at range and do javelin 13500, the strat we usually employ. Because if it's running faction, which I assume it is, or rage, we should be able to prevent it from hitting us if we run out to 13500 because of the flight time. Which is what I'm assuming, and you'll notice that we're not taking any damage here now, which is ideal. That's basically strat, so we're taking no damage here. I do notice a slicer and D-scan, and I'm like, oh yes, nice. We've got a proper fight here. Yeah, this dude is like switched ammo to something, either faction or I think like javelin or something. So he's applying now. I keep my eye on the slicer. Basically, what I'm doing is like get underneath its guns. I feel like it's gonna like what's the word? Underestimate me now that I've like just had a fight with Maryland. I get my webs, AB on them, get underneath the guns. I don't switch ammo because I feel like even if I get underneath the guns, even with the EM, we're just gonna like nuke the guy. So slicers aren't particularly the tankiest things, and this is like a regular kite slicer. If it was like more of a web or like AB web one, we would have been so dead. But it's just a regular kite one. Get underneath its guns and easy. That was a nice little engagement with the Kestrel and the slicer, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, I noticed in like these 1v2s, like the dude who comes in second always underestimates the guy who's just been in the fight. So we still have quite a lot of tank going. He does get some good hits, but like too little too late at this point. Yeah, GF. Okay, this is another 2v1 against a Punisher and a Slicer. I've started this late, so I was just killing the Punisher, and I was assuming I was just going to kill the Punisher, but I seen the Slicer, it's like, oh, a fight. So I open the OBS, I keep my webs on the Punisher to keep him off us whilst I approach this Slicer. Basically, what I want to do is get underneath the guns of the Slicer, same strat. But you'll notice that he just like rams us. Like, this goes into the same what I just said again, like with the Kestrel and the Slicer, that the second guy always seems to underestimate us because there's two of them. It's like, that's a huge mistake that Slicer made. It's like ramming us like that, especially because it's a kitey one. We do take up a lot of damage, but the Punisher's quite far off us at this point, and I just like get underneath the gun. And since I have Nova loaded, it doesn't take too long to like make work with the Slicer. The Punisher's like super slow, and it's just like one of those like super tanky, like plated ones. So by the time the Punisher comes, like if the Punisher was closer and was like applying as well, it would have been a bit of a closer fight. Basically, my strat in the Punisher is orbit 13500. No, it's crazy, right? And then, yeah, just use Javelin. The Punisher gets back into range at this point and he starts applying. But the Slicer goes down, like, main DPS, and I just go back to the same strat in this Punisher to finish him off. Thankfully, the Punisher didn't warp off, and we get back out of range. The Punisher doesn't apply whatsoever. We just continue chucking away from. Which is, like, pretty easy, man. Like, Punishers are usually not the scariest thing if they're 2 mids, but they're usually like very, very tanky, man. They can reach up like close to like 20k HP if they're like quite expensively fit, but they're usually about like 16, 17 for like less than like 5 mil, which I find is insane. But yeah, we work for this Punisher now. It's like a nice little GF against those two. So yeah. Okay, this is like the first Slicer that's giving me a really good run for my money. I'll mention something like closer to an end of this fight, but I need to get better at my shortcuts, man. So there's a few times in this fight when he gets in within like the web range, but I like don't react quick enough. So I try my heart out to kite slingshot this dude, and it's just not happening. This is like a regular pulse slicer, and that's like I usually like do really well against pulse slicers, but not the case this time. I get really close at one time, and I buggered up my heat management at the end here. You'll see, man, like I'm so frustrated because we nearly had it. But I'll tell you now, this Yod mentioned that he was using like snakes in this fight, so that's probably why it's like harder than what I'm usually used to. But it's like I also tried this again. Yod like allowed us like 1v1 him again, just so I could get some practice, and we did eventually lose again, so I feel like it's like just a very hard fight. I get so close to getting into heat range. I bugger it, man. Burn out everything. That's it. GF, once we lose that second web, he's like so much faster than us, and even with the snakes, he's still probably faster than us, but I feel like we had a chance if I didn't burn all that out. I was so frustrated with myself, but like it's like a really good lesson, man. It pushed me to like my limits. And like fights like that, it's like what like forces you to improve. And yeah, that's like a really good GF against Yod. I was like, oh no, but yeah, GF. Alright guys, so I hope this highlights again why I bloody love the Vigil, man. It's such a good ship, man. Like you can engage so many things, and it's like just great for Lowsec. It's like not faction forget we can't engage, and we play it well. And there's like a lot of cruisers. Just like you get some more targets flying the Vigil. Like a lot of frigates like usually like force you to like go not against like other things, but like the Vigil has like such a good engagement profile. That's sort of why I like flying it. I do hope you enjoyed this. I I don't know what I'll be doing next. I might just end up like renaming this like the Vigil Fleet channel. We'll just do like a bunch of Vigil Fleet videos. So I'm not gonna put a time in what we're gonna be flying next, cause that kind of burned me in that like Rifter. Cause I probably won't be doing Rifter again. So we might get some more just like Vigil videos up. I might do some other things, but yeah, like thank you guys for like watching. I do appreciate like people like spend their time watching my videos, me sort of like derping about. So hope you learned something from this, and yeah, I'll hope to catch you in the next one, guys. Do take care.